For those of you who have been following us in our UCC Ultimate Callout Challenge build, you've seen us break a lot of stuff. We've broken 2 camshafts, we've broken a camshaft gear. After we broke the camshafts, we designed a whole new cover to support the camshaft, at which point the gear broke. So we're pretty frustrated at this point. I'm kind of nervous. With the breaking of that camshaft gear, that was Monday, and we needed to leave for UCC on Tuesday. We're in short time here. So I was pretty nervous about this big engine, so we decided to take that engine out of play and bring in our backup motor.
The backup engine is a 5.9 Cummins storm block filled with concrete. It has some LA sleeve, ductile, top fuel type flange sleeves with fire ring grooves cut in it. Old school technology, should be pretty strong. Well, the valves from our big warhead will not fit in a standard bore. There's no way they will hit on the sides of the cylinder. They'll never fit in there. So I have to make a new warhead that we titled the baby warhead with a 185 intake valve and a 175 exhaust valve. Well, the warhead is tall, the valves are custom, they're 11/32, there's nothing available. So I open up the Summit catalog, I go through, I find the biggest, baddest, big block Chevy valves I could find. They're a little bit short, they're a little bit oversized, but I have a lathe, I have a tool post grinder, so we're like, hey, let's cut these valves down and see if I can make them work. So we cut the valves down, we remount the guides to 11/32. We spent a whole day trying to make the seats fit.
We're just gonna send it.
24 hours later, I've got what I think is a head together. We slap it on the engine.
Okay, let's do this. We finally started, and it is awful.
Wonder if you had a little boost coming in the motor, if they'd get enough heat to fire and make those valves bend in or whatever they got to do to seat in.
We got started. Number 1 and 2 were cold. We think they're cold because the valves are not seating properly, so it's not getting compression, so not firing. That's why it's running so rough. We were worried about it because we kind of had to get through this head real fast, like in the middle of the night, and we didn't have the right tools, and so we have another backup head that's not as gnarly as this one. Just really it's an as-cast original Hamilton head. I mean, nothing to intake shelf is still on it, everything. And so we're going to check one more thing here, and if we don't see like what we see, we're going to put the Hamilton head on it, and hopefully that solves our issues. And we can get it done in time and to make it there tomorrow or Friday, whatever day it is that we need to be there soon, very soon.
So we pull the head back off the backup engine. We're like, is my calculation off? Is our compression ratio too low? So we run through the numbers again. No, we're at 12.5 to 1. Maybe it's just going to take a whole can of ether to get this thing started.
Get it back on, start it up, and it runs like a cherry, just smooth. It's awesome. I would love to get this on the dyno and see what it does. I'd love to do any kind of testing, but there is literally no time.
We are now 24 hours later than we wanted to leave for UCC, so no time to test, no time to dyno. We load the truck up, we head to Indiana. We roll into Indianapolis Friday at about 1 o'clock. We were supposed to be there Thursday morning. Here it is Friday afternoon, halfway through the drag race event, and we're just rolling up.
There's a couple drivers meetings that we missed, and I had to text UCC and say, hey, we blew up an engine, we're putting a backup one together, we're gonna miss these meetings. But we will be there Friday for the race. So we get there finally, unload the truck. cruise over to tech inspection, get it ready to go, and then we're off to the races.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, let's do this.
We put it on minimum fuel, do one hit at the track. I think it runs a 1091 at 122 miles an hour. Mind you, my junker drag truck has been faster than that. So nothing impressive, but you know, it was minimum fuel, minimum power.
I didn't even know if this thing was going to spool up without nitrous, anything. So it actually spooled up pretty well. Needed a little shot of juice to get it going, but I was pretty happy with it.
It seemed to go okay. The launch went fine. So I was like, Todd, let's turn it up some more. So we turned it up to from 370 to 650 cc's. Run it down the track, runs a 1019 at I think 137. Picked up a decent gain like we would think with the fuel. We're like, okay, that went well.
That's way better, very good, awesome.
Let's turn up some more. So then we turned up to 850 cc's. It only drops a tenth and a half. It only picks up half a mile an hour. I'm like, something's wrong.
Didn't pick up any power. It's supposed to ramp up to 900 at the end. We have 1250 available. The previous run was 600 cc's and it went the same mile an hour.
So far we've been 10.0 at 138 miles an hour. So pretty good for what it is, but I think there's more in it. So we're gonna try again, we're gonna try to go a little faster.
That should have picked up enough power to run a mid 9-second pass. So I was like, well, we've got one run left. Now it's 9 o'clock Friday night. I was like, let's turn up to 1,000 cc's.
I think this last one, just try, we don't try to kill it, but if you could leave 5 pounds higher maybe.
20 minutes.
840.
I'm gonna get suited up so we can get right up there. So I get to the line, I spool up, things are going fine, and away I go. It's leaving, it's going really good for about 300 feet and then blows up. Oil everywhere. Yeah, I mean everywhere. This thing is just soaked in oil.
Yeah, I don't know if the motor's gonna run again.
So bad they didn't want to drag me back to the pits. They actually got a truck, a roll-off to come pick me up, pull me up on the bed, and they drove me all the way back to the pits because they didn't want me taking my oily, drippy mess all through the racetrack. So we get back to the pits and we're looking it over and we're thinking, God, did the valves go? What is this? We could see the tappet covered gasket had completely blown out. I mean, it's like halfway out of the block. So we made our final pass. We turned the power up. I was really upset with my 10.002. Wanted a 9-second pass out of this guy. Thought that'd be pretty cool with the junk motor to get a 9-second pass. So we turned it up and proceeded to blow oil over everything because the tappet covered gasket had come out.
Look how pretty we made it.
And now we're gonna stop running. So did we hurt the motor or did we not? We're about to find out.
Oh yeah, you split it. The block's busted. The block's cracked.
Well, it looks like the block is broken. That's probably, it didn't like 1,000 cc's.
That split the block lengthwise right down it, and on the freeze plug side, it pushed the whole side of the block out. Like it was probably, you know, a couple hundred cc's away from blowing the whole deck off the block.
It was completely destroyed. I mean, through the liner, into the block, the side of the block was cracked, which this all makes a lot more sense now. All these cracks in the block, all that combustion pressure went straight into the crankcase and it blew that tappet cover gasket right out because there's all this pressure and it's got to go somewhere.
We're like, great. We're out of UCC. We ran a pathetic 10-second quarter-mile pass with all of our power, all of our big turbos. And we start scratching our heads and I go, well, Todd, we brought the big engine with us.
We brought it and put it in our booth so people could see the broken cam gear. and the pistons with all the valve marks. The valves get stuck and beat the pistons. And so it's here, it's in the booth with a broken cam.
All it needs is a head. I was like, the bottom end should be fine on it. And we got thinking, well, the cam gear broke, maybe we can throw USA cam gear on there and fix the problem.
The big problem we have is the backup motor also had firings like the big motor, but the backup motor had the entire groove cut into the block only, the head was flat. So it's about a 40 thousandths deep groove cut in the block. On the big motor, we split that across the head and the block, so about 20 thousandths deep groove in the block and 20 thousandths in the head. So if we put this head on that block, the firing machine is not right. It means it's going to sit the head too high up off of the deck of the block, and it may not seal the oil. That's our only concern. They have no water. The firing will seal the combustion, but it may leak oil because we can't compress the gasket. To top that off, we only have the gasket we just had in the motor, and we didn't have any oil firings. We're going to have to reuse firings. So Will and I all night took the parts off of the broken engine and put them on a less broken engine.
What's this one called now?
This is called the Get Crap Done So We Can Continue in the Competition engine.
I don't know if it's going to run yet because it's not technically correct, but it might work. And we're going to find out hopefully soon. And if it works, we're going to go on. We're going to dyno and see what she does. So far we're not dead.
We got the engine in Saturday around 10 o'clock. Todd luckily pulled a late dyno draw pick, so we didn't have to dyno first thing in the morning.
We get it installed, we get it started. Looking around, she sounds pretty good. And we don't have any oil leaks anywhere, so I'm like, well, let me do a little boost here, build some boost. So I hop on the trans brake, build a little boost. No problems, everything's great. It's alive, for now. So I'm one of the last, I am like the second or third to last guy to go. And so we get the whole thing in there, whole thing back together, and we're ready to go.